Hello everyone, Maurice and welcome to Things Invest. Talk about investing, finance, fresh development. For today's share terms only. The investment on top of today will be Ethereum ticker ETH. And it was my second video that I'm posting again today, and I'm recording this at 4:33 p.m. on Eastern Time. Currently like the $2,598, up about 1.46% so far. And with respect to some other news that have came out ever since the morning recording that we had, I would say collectively speaking is more positive news again, but again more regurgitating, reinforcing news, right? And but just to like talk about a few of them, just to keep tabs, right? Decryptus just came out with an article 26 minutes ago on the depictions on basically talk about the NFT market, right? Coming back. As you know, obviously Ethereum has been surging ever since that bottom, the 1750, to surging all the way to the all-time high today at the $2,666, right? So obviously one positive news, but again regurgitating, reminding us the value proposition of Ethereum. Obviously, is a good thing, but just another regurgitation, reminding us. Another news that we got is coming from CNBC, and this came out about like 3 hours ago. And the depictions on the article is around the infrastructure bill proposal revision, on incorporating some new verbiage, regarding crypto assets regulations going forward, right? So obviously, another news that we have to be cautious of and watch out for how that's going to be percolating going forward. Another one that I mentioned this morning around, with respect to that Don Dyer's propositions on the new crypto bill, that they are currently working on, right? The comprehensive checklist, if you made the 58 pages document that is currently being revised and being drafted by the feds, right? Another news, obviously driving some regulatory pressure, down to the crypto assets as a whole going forward. So not just for Ethereum, obviously. And then some other news. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it based on the new news affectation that has came out in the recent time frame, right? So I'm gonna go through technical analysis again to see how's the market trending again, right? I know it's just short durations. I recorded at 10 a.m. this morning, so it's the afternoon, and I just also want to see how that anti-correlates with the equity market at the same time. So stay tuned, stick around. Let's make some money. Alright, so moving on to the technical analysis for Ethereum ticker ETH, I'm recording of like 4:39 p.m. on Eastern Time. Currently, like the $2,594, up about 1.35% so far. So I'm basically about like 25 minutes away from my meeting, so I'm going to try to wrap this up relatively quickly. So before I go through the technicals, let's go through the equity market real quick to see how it trended today. So you can see that today on SPY, we're just kind of hovering on a sideways fashion, down about 0.21%. And you can see that specifically we are forming a cross right now. So I do see a sell-off coming. So something to watch out for. This is a cross that we are fusing together right now, on top of the fact that RSI is kind of depleting, coming down right now. So I do see a sell-off coming for SPY, but I don't think it's going to be a huge correction. It's just going to be a moderate level of correction, ideally testing the level of $429 level going forward for SPY. So for Nasdaq, the trends is a little bit different. I would say the correction that we should be foreseeing should not be as severe in comparison to SPY. Also, on top of the fact that we don't have that cross that we've formed in SPY either, we are more of a normalized level in comparison to SPY as well. So kind of hovering on a sideways fashion. Today we're up about 0.06%. So overall in the equity market, we're kind of trading flat today. So not really anti-correlating to the crypto market at all. So let's take a look at the Ethereum real quick with all the news affectation that we've heard so far, right? So it seems like we are still kind of hovering on a sideways fashion. We are struggling to obviously break through the $2,750. That is the next level of the consolidation. And I think is mainly due to the fact that we do have some regulatory news today on potential new crypto bills that's coming out that could potentially squeeze the margins for a profitability perspective for crypto assets holders. So that could be one of the catalysts on like kind of compressing that surge. On top of the surge, with respect to anticipatory pressure for the London fork on the 4th coming up, right? So net cancels out. Equity market's kind of flat. So we just kind of trade on a sideways fashion right now. That's why we're not really doing much, right? And I think that's a good thing because like we are dragging out the MACD a little bit longer, and by dragging that out, the RSI can further deplete a little bit more, which is good because it provides us more substance if we stay at this level, right? So I would say currently we kind of just trade on a sideways fashion around like 2,600 as a flat number. Again, right, 2,600 is not really a consolidation number. If you look at the level we have tested before, this is not really a level. The next level leap up should be somewhere around like the 2,750, right? Per our discussions that we've had earlier, right? Right now we're just kind of like floating, levitating, if you may, right? So I think we need to have another surge coming to the 2,750, and today we tried, but we never even got to the 2,700. 700, we got to the 2,650. But again, that's not a level that we've tested before, right? So I think we're just kind of trading on a sideways fashion right now. And for the hover, people are not willing to sell or buy at the moment. And I think we should see a little bit more surge coming, knowing the fact that the news are slowly percolating towards the London Fork debut coming up right now. So I believe as we hear more news coming in the next couple of days, and I do foresee it's going to be positive, surrounding the London Fork and what to expect, which is typical affectation from the news publication companies, right? Or just reinforcing and obviously provide us more supplement into the buying pressure on top of the buying pressure that we are already anticipating. That I think ideally leaping up to the 2,750 will be ideal. And I hope that we get there and consolidate at that level and not hovering between this level right now because this level is not sustainable, right? Because this will give a reason by the fourth, by the whales to sell off from there, right? Because like the typical buy the rumor, sell the news type of affectation, that's very common. Especially, we've been kind of squeezing the lemon for such a long time ever since the 1750 to all the way to this current level right now. It's just logical for people to take profit, right? And that's one reason. And secondly, because of the potential disappointment from just like hyping it up for such a long time now, that once they hear about the change or like the value proposition on how that's being shifted, or the lack thereof, if you may, knowing the fact that Ethereum is still something that we are further improving on. It's not something that is finalized. That could subsequently drive some sell off, right? And I think the risk occurrence is gonna be is dramatically increased, and by that point, it's gonna be at the peak of it. Once we hit that apex, which is gonna be on the fourth, it's gonna sell off, and I think the sell off will be comparable to the level that we've sustained so far. We might see maybe a week of straight sell off going forward with negative news consecutively, right? So something to watch out for. And I think this is just a typical buy the rumor, sell the news effect, right? So definitely be mindful of how you are thinking about executing your price level going forward. Do not chase the pump. I do understand it looks pretty to be green in comparisons to overall market being red, but there's a reason for that, right? And the last thing I want you to do is to get hurt by executing incorrectly. So apply logics, apply what we see in front of us in the charts, and stay safe out there. To recap our numbers and technical analysis, again, right, we are hovering in between the levels 2,750 and the 2,450, right? And 2,600 and 2,660 or 50 is not really a level of consolidation, right? These are just flat numbers people are buying, right? Because it's a flat number. But ultimately, we're levitating right now, and when we levitate like that, it kind of we just consolidate on a sideways fashion without people buying or selling. But that's not really a consolidation level because we've never tested before, right? Unless we're forming a new platform, but that's unlikely, right? Because of the fact that we're just waiting on the next catalyst coming. And today's catalyst has been net canceled out by the regulatory news that came out, right? The new bills that are coming out that is going to be surrounding on the topic of crypto assets as a whole going forward, right? And knowing the fact that we are overbought right now, I think the likelihood of actually getting down, or ideally dollar cost averaging 2,450, the risk aversion is higher in comparisons to like chasing the pump to the 2,750, right? And I really hope we get to 2,750 because that will be a new platform for us to escalate going forward, right? So dollar cost averaging, I think for me will be 2,450, and ideally at the level of 2,150 because that's a level of consolidate for about 28 times so far. It will be 29 if we go down again this time, right? But ultimately, if you want to buy now, that's fine. If you just want to have some skin in the game, right? But ultimately, the price target for long term is going to be around 9,800 and onward from there, right? And that will subsequently generate 4 times your money if you buy 2,450. So if you think long term, you should be told. Alright, so this is for their respect my technical analysis on Ethereum ticket ETH. Hopefully this is helpful into giving you that clarity on executing the right price level going forward. So hopefully this is helpful. I have about like 10 minutes before my next meeting, so I'm gonna probably get ready for it. So I'm gonna probably just edit it during the meeting. I'm just gonna be listening in, so I will upload it momentarily. But I really appreciate you, and feel free to shout if you have any questions. And stay tuned for this come up. Take care. Bye.